So you want to have as large a circulation as possible. The first thing is to find a big distributor called Penguin, and that was done. The second thing is that how do you make a book that is continuously read? So I thought the best strategy was to write it in such a way that it become a school textbook. So I wrote an autobiography in chronological order from childhood to current middle age. Actually, it's old age, but and I wrote it in very short chapters, like 4 or 5 pages per chapter. And after each chapter, I summarize in 1-2 lines what is the takeaway lesson. So it's very easy to read, and it has not got any academic language. So if I write it this way, could I make it a school textbook? So I went to the best school in secondary school in Singapore, and I persuaded them to use it as a school textbook. And after they read the book, in fact, they created a school of Gumption inside this school. And it's a leadership training school inside. That means a school in the school. And I think that after this, I will go to a few more schools, and then hopefully the student change their character and learn about soft skills like curiosity, courage, compassion, commitment, collaboration, communication, calmness. All these skills are soft skills that school never taught. And whatever they taught about regurgitation of knowledge actually are obsolete, because after numeracy and literacy, all the rest you can use AI. And in the age of AI, people get jobless if they don't have this soft skill. So I learned that when I went to Singularity University at the age of 59. In NASA campus, I learned technology, and I was very worried. So I thought I should write this book, yeah.
Right, so it started out as a memoir, ended up as a textbook, which is a unique story
I would like
in itself.
it to be a national textbook soon.
Right. Yeah. No, great. But you know, what was interesting to me in reading this book is your the engaging style in which you write it, of course, but also the use of humor. And I think for the subject you have chosen to address, you know, it's bodily functions, it's natural, happens to everyone, yet it's one of the most embarrassing things for people to admit, to talk about. So I think humor is a really good entry point. But I have a two-part question. When did you first realize that you were funny, that you were a funny guy, and that you could actually put that to work to address all of the situations that you've addressed?
So basically, I was a naughty boy, and all my life I want to be a naughty boy. I'm still a very naughty boy right now, and defying authority. And of course, I failed my O-level. Today, I'm a professor, and I have a double honorary doctorate. But prior to that, I was a school failure. And so I was always joking and laughing, and then became a top salesman, and I became a businessman. So I started 16 companies by making people happy, telling them jokes, but also servicing them. And when I was 40, I stopped making money because I realized that people die at 80. And I start to make a countdown on my phone. I've got 14,600 days before I die. Today I have 4,462 days before my 80th birthday, which is my last day here. And therefore, every day I treasure is very precious. And you should also count down how many days before you die. And if you are already past 80, you're just in bonus time, right? So since we're all going to die, why don't we do something good? So I realized that, and I stopped making money, because if you make more money, you don't need it. But what you are spending is the days and the minutes and the time, so precious. So I wanted to do something good before I pass away. And what is it that is good? that should be worthy to do is the thing that nobody wants to do, and that is shit, right? And at that time, I saw that 40% of all the world population don't have a toilet. So 2.5 billion people don't have a toilet. And so I thought, okay, let's solve this problem by telling stories about that this problem exists. And people find it very uncomfortable to admit that they go to the toilet, they're so good looking, they dress well, they behave well, and then they fart. But everybody farts, you know, because fart is a natural digestion process. And then they produce shit. It's like so ugly, but that's like real, right? So how do you tell this story that people don't have toilet and the flies go to the shit and then spread the disease to kill children? Every year, around 2 million people die of diarrhea. Nobody wants to talk about it. And if 30,000 people die of COVID, they shut down the whole world. Why? Because middle class and rich people die of COVID. So that's very important. But if poor people die 2 million per year, what's the problem? No, don't talk about it. So I took it. And the only way to make it exciting is to use humor. And so I created this organization called the WTO. Right. I was hoping the World Trade Organization will sue me, then I'll be famous. But they didn't sue me, so I became very famous as well because now I'm called the WTO. And the media love it so much. And the media start to write about us in a very serious manner to say, this guy is not a joke, he's really serious. And through the media, they legitimize my work. And then the politicians start to say, hey, if this guy talks shit and go into the media and got so much readership, then why don't I bring him along and promise people toilet? And so in India particularly, all the MLA started to fight each other promising toilets, and then they get elected. So this is kind of mutual exploitation is collaboration.
Right. No, of course, for the greater good, right? So that's all good. But I did want to go back to the point about COVID, middle class, rich people. You know, I think Bill Gates actually had this statistic where he said that there's more research, more money that goes into research for curing baldness than goes into finding a treatment for malaria or for rotavirus or any of these illnesses, just because they affect a certain population of the world that we don't think about. But one thing you did mention was that as WTO became more successful and people began to recognize it and your efforts, you went and you were invited and talked to many heads of state, many governments. You went to Davos, you know, you spoke there. What were your challenges there? What were the findings? What was unexpected about those encounters?
Of course, the challenge was that people thought I was a joke, right? And at first, they didn't feel comfortable, but as the media writes more and more, they start to feel, hey, it's normal. I also go to the toilet, right? All of us go to the toilet 6 to 8 times a day, but you don't even count. Like right now, you say, oh, 6 to 8 times a day, did I go so many times? You know, you go all your life, but you never count. So the thing is that after I do this the United Nations made the founding day of the World Toilet Organization the official UN World Toilet Day. So this was signed by 193 countries' government. And our NGO, we don't have money, so we only employed 3 people. But we were able to get 2.5 billion people toilet over the last 24 years. Without building toilet, we get the policymaker to build toilet and to prioritize it, just like India did. So we started in 2007 with President Abdul Kalam. We hosted World Toilet Summit, paid by Sulab. So we always use other people's money, other people's authority, other people's power, but we get it done, right? So after I got invited to become a Schwab Fellow of the World Economic Forum, which is the only category that you go to Davos for free. Normally, if you go, you got to pay $150,000 just for the ticket, right? When I went there, I was a little bit surprised because I thought I was meeting the smartest people, the most powerful people, head of state, head of UN, CEO of big company, rock star professors and all that. When I went there, I realized that their level of intelligence is roughly the same as you and me. And they're not really wise at all. They are, in fact, very extractive people. They are all trying to keep their reach their KPI every quarter and make all the money. So I thought, now I know why the world have 50% poverty and so much problem with pollution and climate change problem, because the world is so screwed up because these are screwed up people leading the world. So we have to start thinking of new ways. We cannot just scold them, right? So we have to start thinking of new way. And I realized that if you leverage each of their selfishness and make them mutually exploit each other and align all of their interests, the media, the politician, the academia, the philanthropists, the NGOs, the investors, the UN system, if all their selfishness are aligned in a very efficient manner, then collective selfishness becomes selflessness.
That's a great marketing and media strategy, and of course for an organization. You mentioned India a couple of times, and obviously open defecation is a big problem here, as in many other countries, but you've also helped the Indian government back when, in 2014, I guess, Prime Minister Modi launched his Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the Clean India Mission, and the claims of having built more than 100 toilets. I'm curious about your assessment of that project, of India's efforts at this point, in terms of building toilets, addressing the sanitation problem.
So first of all, I want to congratulate India and Modi for being so brave to talk about toilet, right? I mean, he's a head of state, and Swachh Bharat has changed the way Indians think about a toilet. Now it's a must-have. It is a necessity. Before that, it's like, why should we have a toilet? We all watched this Akshay Kumar movie called Toilet, A Love Story. Akshay Kumar's father said, why do we need a toilet? And that was the situation in the past. But now, I think it is seen as a necessity. Then the con side of the Swachh Bharat project is that it was a supply-driven project and not a demand-driven project. They never generate the demand. They just give people toilet. So a lot of people use the toilet as a storeroom or even don't use it. So now they have to go and change the behavior. However, it is also a master stroke in politics to give Mahatma Gandhi on the 2nd of October 2019 this present of open defecation free, and Mahatma Gandhi say toilet is more important than independence. And in the process, of course, the BJP took the image of Gandhi into BJP, and then Congress lost Gandhi, right? So I think they are very smart. But I don't care if they are smart. I care that they built toilet. So he's my friend. So he came to Singapore and take this 2-flag photograph with me with a fantastic handshake. And it's legitimacy. Then later on, we went to national television on India Today conclave, and Salman Khan started to fundraise on stage with me, and I was on national television with Salman Khan, and I get really famous. Then all the rest, Akshay Kumar, Vidya Balan, Deepika Padukone, and and Amitabh Bachchan and Matt Damon and Coldplay and Jay-Z, we all performed like 80,000 free tickets in Mumbai on World Toilet Day. So I think all these things are like magic, you know.
Yeah, no, of course. And I love the way you talk about bringing celebrities and creating allies of people like that, of, say, the Gates Foundation, which has supported you in many of your efforts. And more specifically, how can you quantify the ways celebrities and allies who are very powerful and famous people, not maybe the ones at Davos, but the ones who are actually kind of more funding more specific projects, how have those allies helped your mission specifically?
So what they did is that the fastest way to get the maximum number of toilets on the ground is through change of policy. So in India, they use it to win election. In China, we helped them prepare for the Olympics in 2004. The Olympics is 2008. So in 4 years, we have to change all the culture of toilets behavior and toilets cleanliness in Beijing. And we did it 6,600 toilet blocks. And eventually, they have a successful Beijing Olympics. So 20 years later, all of China public toilets are clean now. All. It's a 1.4 billion population country just like India. So President Xi Jinping took up to become toilet champion as well. Then in Brazil, I lobbied the Brazilian senator, 79 senator. I made them change the law to allow privatization of their government-owned sewage treatment plant. And we raised $14 billion investment into their sewage treatment plant. So by 2035, we expect to raise $150 billion investment. So now you think, I'm just an ordinary guy. Nobody give me permission. I have no money. We have no authority, no influence. But I can go to Brazil to change the law. I can work in India, not at the Modi time, in Jairam Ramesh time, with President Abdul Kalam hosting our World Toilet Summit in the Bigam Bawan twice. So I think storytelling is powerful. And if you are able to tell story, to motivate people to take action in their own name, not in your name, then the movement will have a life of its own. And I believe that when you tell story, it's not for yourself, it's for the mission that you are trying to achieve. And if you keep that in mind, then one of the few things you have to remember is that if the paparazzi came, it is for you to create legitimacy to further your mission and not for you to feel so big-headed. Because once you be big-headed, then you lost your mission. So although you still do enjoy because ego doesn't go away, but you remember that this is a tool.
Just focus on the mission. Stay true to your goals. Again, another takeaway. One of the things in the book, you write about Japan and bringing a lot of people from Japan in the beginning, at least, to help figure out sanitation, toilets, and you say in Japan that's like very much a demand-driven culture, which is why you have the level of cleanliness in Japan that it's world-renowned for. Why do you think, what makes the Japanese different from the rest of us? I mean, of course, education is one piece of it, but in general, what have you learned from that Japan experience?
The Japanese people are very anal about cleanliness.
Nice pun.
So what happened is that the Japanese invest 2% of their GDP on water and sanitation every year from very long ago. And the people became healthy. And healthy people become productive because healthy plus you train them on skill. Then you attract investment. Then the country grow, right? But of course, America destroyed them with the Plaza Accord and all that. It's a political problem. But by nature, they are very clean. So I think this is the best culture in the world, toilet culture, and we have to export it all over the world. And recently, we helped them with their Tokyo toilet project, and there was another movie called Perfect Days, and this was all orchestrated by Uniqlo's, the son of Uniqlo.
Yeah.
And I got to know him because I wrote another book, Japanese toilet autobiography called Toilet Save the World. And he read it, and then he gave me some money, and we went to do publicity in Japan.
Yeah, no, it is, you know, and that's why Toto flushes are popular all over the world, I think. But along with toilets, obviously it's a bigger systemic problem. You need the government incentive, you need education. How does that chain, like how much of your efforts have gone into building that entire chain from the ground up? Awareness, infrastructure building, waste management techniques, getting all of that. How has your involvement been across all of these pieces of the system?
So the system that I work is like a conductor of an orchestra. A conductor of orchestra doesn't do anything except wave a stick, right? But he gets the job done because every musician is playing a musical instrument, but the conductor, he's an orchestrator. So at first I didn't understand why this person who is waving a stick is so important. So I actually went to watch, follow their rehearsals, and the conductor is able to make like 100 pieces of musician play one sound. And that is my role. If everybody is making their noises uncoordinated, it's noise. But if you coordinate everybody and orchestrate their combined effort, then it is music. And to be able to do that, you have to have the empathy and the ability to hear that this violinist needs to be softer a little bit, this person needs to be slower, just half a bit. And then when you correct it, then you say, everybody have to go up a little bit more and put your spirit together, and then the music come out totally different. This good orchestra and mediocre one is totally different. So the orchestrator role is very similar to my role.
Great. In your role as the conductor of the orchestra and everything that you've done at the WTO, how important do you think the fact that, as you said, you're a naughty child in school, you failed your O-levels, you kind of have talked about how the traditional system of education does not actually help build the skills that are necessary. How much would you say the fact that you had a non-traditional path in education helped you, like, be outside of the system in a way as opposed to being?
It is so precious. When time runs out, life runs out. Money left on the table is useless.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Warren Buffett was the one who said that you might as well give your money away because you can't take it with you to the grave, right? So you might as well give it away while you're alive. One of the things you mentioned is that now, having done this and having created an institution and having your kids out of the house, now they're grown up, and that you can get back to romancing Julie, your wife, and you speak of her with such love. And I'm wondering, how is that life playing out for you now as you kind of, turn WTO into more of an institution?
My ideal last part of my life is to get all the university and corporates in the world to subsidize my romance of my wife. So how I do is that after writing this book, I go and give speeches, and they pay me $10,000 each time I make a speech, plus they fly me there, plus they give me hotel. So I just have to use that money to buy a ticket for my wife, and I give a speech for an hour, and then I went for holiday with my wife. So I want to romance my wife the rest of my life, paid by these corporates and university.
You figured it all out. I mean, I think I'm going to wrap up here just to have room for questions, so I don't... Yeah, no, I was just... Do we have room for questions? Oh, okay. Well, one question, if there is one.
Take your opportunity, yes. Yeah. Okay, that's one. Already.
You're quite an inspiration, sir. My question is related to the Swachh Bharat mission. Since you work closely, you might be able to throw light on this. What I heard is that in the villages, while the toilets have come up, they continue to be without water and function as dry latrines, which again puts the load on a certain community to go and clean it up. Would you please be able to specify on that? Thank you.
Yeah, actually, let's just say it's not a perfect situation yet, but a large part of the Indian population already enjoy the facility of having toilets and having simple pit latrine. What we want to do next is to work on the sewage treatment as well as the cleanliness of maintenance. And we have created 6 world toilet colleges in India, starting from Aurangabad and now going to a few other places in Pune and other places. And we have trained and placed 30,000 sanitation workers in cleaning toilet as well as emptying clearing the chokage, because there is such a Dalit that is employed to dive into the sewer and cover his head. So he's going to die around 45 years, and the breadwinner of the house die. So we created World Toilet Colleges, trained 30,000 of them, and placed them into jobs. So this is still only 30,000. We have to keep on doing. I hope everybody who is here go and buy the book, read it, join my LinkedIn, Facebook, and connect with me, because they are chasing us off the stage. So what we need to do is to work together, and if you can volunteer, help us, because we have only 3 staff, and we can make so much changes. So you also can learn how to make changes for other things in society. And the World Toilet College is paid by Harpic. So again, I didn't do anything. I use other people's money, other people, and they pay us for using our brand. So, you know, you will learn how to do everything in your life if you read my book. So it costs only $4.99. Go and buy.
The Gumption of Mr. Toilet.